Tom, welcome. What's going on? Just wanted to kick off. I'm excited about doing this podcast with you. Tell me a little bit about your you and your journey, and why people should hang out with you.
Well, that's a good question. I asked that too many times, Adam. I don't know that answer. That's a loaded,
well, I need you to make
question.
something up. It should be compelling.
That's it. Yeah. The journey, I'll keep it short and sweet. I've been an
Okay.
entrepreneur pretty much my entire life, right? So
Right.
I didn't take the path that'll let you trip across for most individuals, which
Right.
is
Right.
like they had a job, whether it's in corporate or whatever, and then decided to go out on their own. Mine was real like the opposite. I grew up in a household that was entrepreneurs. So
Yep.
like by the time like I was in high school, it was more or less like, are you going to open your own business or what?
Exactly.
Fast forward to gray hairs and years
Well, you
later.
don't have any gray hair. I have gray hair.
That's right. Mine's coming in my beard. You know what I mean? It'll hit the other side later. And with 3 kids, trust me, I'll be completely gray in about 2 years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you talked about something, and which I think is fascinating. I also grew up. My dad owned retail stores.
Mm.
So when I grew up, that I was surprised. I thought that was normal. Like that was
Sure.
right. You just wake up and you just assume, your family has a business, right? That's what you do, right? So I was really, when I got older, people got jobs. It's like, what is that?
Yeah, no, I mean, it's crazy, right? I mean,
Right.
and it's just a different way to grow up for sure,
Right.
right? And I think there's good and bad to it, right? But like
Absolutely.
certainly the fear of entrepreneurship, I don't know about you, Adam, but the fear was never there. Like it was
No, because
just
you
part of
just assume
life.
the risks inherent, right? You just assume like my dad would come home and say, we had a great day, or conversely, this was bad, right?
Right. Yeah, no,
And you go,
no,
okay, well,
absolutely.
hopefully tomorrow will be better. But you didn't
Yes.
have that expectation that it was going to be secure.
Absolutely. Right from birth, it was a roller coaster ride. And
Exactly.
some days you had a safety harness and others not,
Right.
but it was a normal way of life for sure. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah.
That was the
I
expectation.
I think you and I kind of grew up the same way that way.
Right.
So yeah, for
Absolutely.
sure.
And then conversely, my dad, I worked in the retail stores. I was like, I did a stock boy for a while, and then I realized, ooh, this is a shitty way to make a living.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
want to take off the list. Retail is out.
Yeah. The funny part about that too, Adam, is this like when you say like it's a shitty way of making a living, like
Right.
it's not even the work that you had to do, but one thing that I like actually was like privy to as a pretty young kid is my dad gave me some opportunities to work different jobs, and
Right.
some jobs paid way more than others.
And then you
And
realize
like
that.
yes.
It
And so like
clicked.
when I as a young kid, I'm like, well, the hell with doing that like no money stuff. Like where do I get more of like getting paid higher like levels of income? So
Right.
it kind of like sits
How can I match my energy to my income?
without a doubt. And I was
Right.
too much of an idiot to sort of like completely connect the dots, but like it laid the seeds for
Right.
like understanding entrepreneurship. You know what I mean? It's pretty neat.
That's fantastic. So tell me about Defiant, and how'd you get there, and again, why do people hire you?
Yeah.
What's your superpower?
Yeah, for sure. So we're in a unique situation now. It's taken me over 20 years to put this together, but we finally built an infrastructure that we can actually help small businesses in the way that they
Mhm.
really want to help in terms of growth. So like in my lane, there are a ton of people that either are on one side of the fence. Either they're like, let's say you have your coaches, consultants, fractionals out there.
Mhm.
And there are people that are very good at doing that stuff. I mean, excellent at doing that stuff, but it's mainly strategy. In other words, they don't want to get their hands dirty with regard to tactics or anything like that or execution. They are there and paid for their mind and their experience. And there are a lot of people that are good in that lane. Or the opposite side of that would be that there's a ton of companies that will do a bunch of things, but they're not really structured for like high level strategy or anything like that. So like I've got both ends. Like in other words, if you want to hire like a marketing, business development, sales, or any type of operational support, you can hire companies that do fantastic outsourcing. Or if you don't want it outsourced or you already have outsourcing and you want more high level approach to strategy and planning, you can go the coaches, consultants, fractionals route. My company is set up like this. I'm now over 350 people that are associated with my company, right? And we do both sides of it. So in other words, we can handle both the strategy side, and we have full strategists with regard to growth, marketing, business development, sales, and operations, right? But we also have a long list of specialists that you can pull from in any category imaginable. And then what I did was structure it this way. Because small businesses, the initiatives are constantly changing, I said, how do I actually give a small business access to over 50 specialists in all these different categories and can interchange them with the price or the model based off of like what it normally costs for, let's say, one virtual assistant. So in other words, let's say you pay $1,000, $3,000, $5,000 a month or something like that. You can interchange these specialists and get whoever you want when you need it and evolve as you go along. It's a very unique set for small business space that literally gives you access to a full power of a team at the price of one virtual assistant. So I'm obviously partial. I'm in love with it, and I would have had, if I would have had this in the past for my other small businesses that I've been running over 26 years, it would have made things a hell of a lot easier. But we juggle both sides, strategy as well as tactics.
Excellent. So throughout your journey, what would you say was some of the best advice you've gotten?
Oh man, best advice is this, because there's no separation between personal and professional life. Like when you're a small business, it is who you are. So
24/7.
like the advice that I would give to any other entrepreneur would be this: make sure you set up your company the way that you actually want to live your life. And that can be a huge umbrella of questions to ask and things to change. But when you create a monster professionally, it bleeds into your personal life. One thing that
give me an
really,
example of that, because I know a lot of people will say, well, that's not who I am during the, they'll try to separate it.
Yeah, I'll give you two examples. So for instance, like let's look at target audience, right? And you look at geography and you go like, I can work with anybody on planet Earth. That's awesome, minus the fact that you have to, let's say I'm an East Coast company, right? And if I'm going to start working with West Coast companies, think long and hard about what like scheduling meetings look like and how that reflects to your family life and everything else. You must think through it like A to Z, because whenever you create, it can be a monster that literally eats away at your soul, or you can take control of what you're creating and you can have an awesome life and a business. But it can get out of control fast. You probably can resonate with that, Adam.
Yeah, so exactly. Well, to your point, we're getting too tactical. We do really well with like mid-Atlantic clients, right? Because not only the time zone, but also culturally, right? There's going to be different, the companies in California are going to operate a little bit differently than companies in the DC area.
Yeah, for sure. The second thing that I'll bring up as an example, Adam, is this, right? As entrepreneurs, we write the book. There is nobody else creating it. It's our creation. Like we literally can do anything that you want. So like I'll work with other clients and work with my own internal team and going like this. Am I pricing this correctly for a target audience that I actually want to help? And there's no right or wrong to it. You just need to look at it. For instance, do I need 12 clients to be successful at this price point? Or would I rather drop my price point and have, let's say, 36 clients to manage?
And get more clients
I don't know what the
at a
right
lower
answer
price.
is. Right. I don't know what the right answer is because there's good, bad, and all the things in between. But it's our job as entrepreneurs to look at it and go, what's right for us? You know what I mean? What is the right thing? So I think, again, the advice is look long and hard if you are a small business and find out, is this the business that I really want to create? And how does it affect my personal life? Because if one of them go off kilter, you're going to have hell to pay. Right? You got to have that balance on both sides.
Yeah, I like that. And then also one of the best advice, both personally and professionally, I got in my early in my 20s. Had like a mentor, older person, and I had a situation in one of my first jobs where like I was promised some equity. It didn't happen. I was spending all this energy trying to get to fix it. And his name was John. He puts his hand on my shoulder and he goes, Adam, excuse my language. He's looked at me and I'm like 25 and he's like in his 60s. He puts his hands on my shoulder and he says, Adam, some things are just fucked and you got to let it go.
100%.
You got to learn from it and move on. You're not going to fix it.
That's right. Yeah. And that's a hard lesson learned.
You know 25, 26. I'm like, my mind was blown. I'm like, what? You don't try to fix it? He goes, no, let it go. Yep. It can't be fixed. It's not fixed. Move on.
That ship has sailed and you're not catching up.
You're not catching it. It's not fixed. Just let it go. Yeah. So from that moment on, it was like it hit me like a ton of bricks. And then I said, both personally and professionally, I tried to understand that, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. You know, I think going down this topic, the one other thing that I will say is this, and I interact with a lot of other small business owners constantly, and one of the biggest problems that they have, and including myself, is that you come across these periods where you think that with a little bit of success, it gives you a little bit more power with regard to having money to bring other people on board and other things on board and stuff like that. But for most small businesses, this must stay paramount constantly. Whatever you're setting up for your company, whether you're bringing on people or processes or technology, infrastructure, or whatever it is, it's there to support you until it actually becomes way bigger than you. But you're always making a critical error if you think you're going to remove yourself from the company earlier than you should, because nobody gives a shit like you do. Like, no,
you know what? You're going to have to replace that energy or passion as the owner. However, you can put in, I just read the E-Myth Revisited.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then basically what it emphasizes is create scalable processes, right? So
yes.
Your company, it is your intellectual capital, but you got to be able to communicate and put processes and systems in place that can work without you. You're still going to be there.
Without a doubt. And that's prep work. So my point is, get your proof case. In other words, build a small company that supports you, but based off of setup processes and systems that when you do finally reach a point where you can actually scale it, it's possible. But it's always a mistake to think that you're going to hire too early outside or put other people's in place of you and think that they're going to care as much as you do. It's just impossible. It's not going to happen for small businesses. So putting that stuff into place and finding great people, finding great processes, finding the right technology to support you. And then when it's finally time to scale, you can do it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know. You can go down this route. I'm sure you've hired a bunch of people in your over your years of entrepreneurship, right?
Yes.
And there will be 1,000,002 people that will disappoint or fall short of your expectations. And one of those people that are a hell of a lot smarter than I told me this, then you need to adjust your expectations, not adjust the people. You know what I mean? When you think as a business owner that somebody's going to care as much as you, you're making a mistake. But there are so many good human beings out there that that can really help to support you and grow, so long as the expectations are set correctly, you know?
Absolutely. And then like I've been fortunate, like the people I have now are superstars, but like what is it? You have to kiss a lot of frogs.
That's right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I've been with a lot of frogs.
Yeah, yeah, it's good. You know what I mean? It's a cheap date. It's good
Exactly,
stuff.
it happens.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Super.
yeah.
All right, so Tom, as we launch this podcast, when people hang out with us, what do you want them to come away from?
Yeah, the main thing is the topic that we just talked about, right? I think
Right.
you and I have a really strong initiative to make business owners aware of the importance of outsourcing, because small businesses in this day and age, if you can't leverage proper outsourcing, you are almost destined to fail. The way that businesses are set up nowadays is that to compete and really start to grow and scale your company, at that stage before mid-market, you must be able to find the right partners that are pretty much third-party partners to get the job done for you. And the reason being is that it's impossible to grow internally before literally killing your own company through payroll costs and everything else. You can't do it nowadays.
No, you can't. And
So,
also, I think the
yes.
conventional wisdom previously was like, oh, you look at your organization, you personally, and then do like a strengths and weaknesses, right? And what you were weak on, you should work on your weaknesses. And I agree with it based on that. Let's find out what's your superpower. What are you best at, and lean into that, right? And then
Yeah.
the stuff that you're weak at, outsource.
Yes, yes, yes. And on top of it, I think that most small business owners need to look at it like this. When they're, instead of just interviewing for, let's say, new employees or something like that, there needs to be a wave, an initiative, a change, a perspective on going, you need to find the right outsourcing partners. And that requires clarity on exactly who you need. In your space, Adam, you're outsourced marketing. Well,
Absolutely.
there's a lot of outsourced marketing companies out there. But which one is best suited for you? And when the small business owner says, yes, Adam is the perfect partner for me. You know what I mean? That's even better than having a phenomenal employee. So the perspective change needs to be, yes, you need outsourcing, but even more importantly, how do you find the right outsourcers to create long-term partnerships that all ships rise, right?
Absolutely. And then also having being introspective enough, both personally and with your organization, and say, okay, this is my superpower. This is what I do best. So I'm going to focus on this, and then I need to. I can do this, but I'm going to outsource this, right? Like for me, like bookkeeping. I have a degree in marketing. I shouldn't be doing bookkeeping.
100%, right? Like that's not your superpower, for sure.
I'm not good at that. I don't want to reconcile bank statements.
Yes, yes.
Not
And
my
then like
thing.
I'll push on this a little bit more for that. Like,
Right.
so let's say you're bringing in outsourced bookkeeping, right?
Right.
Now there's two ways of looking at it, right? Like, can I find a bookkeeper? Well, there's a billion on planet Earth. Of course you can.
Right.
But what about that bookkeeper that has been doing the books for other marketing agencies and knows the intricacies, that can actually tell you and give you tips, tricks, whatever, right? That like this has worked for other marketing agencies to increase their revenues, right? Increase profitability, like improve cash flow management. That's what I'm talking about for when you're finding the right outsource partners. There's the surface level of checkbox. Yes, I have outsourced IT. Yes, I have outsourced fill in the blank. But then there's the real superpower partner that goes, I know your type of company through and through, and I can add value way beyond the commodity. That's really finding the right outsource partners that get you to where you need to be.
Perfect. And I think that's a good segue. So as we excited about 2025, we're going to be bringing guests on. So tell us who would be an ideal guest for us.
Yeah, like the ideal guest for us would be the solos, micros, and small coaches, consultants, fractionals on the one side, but then the
Mhm.
other side needs to be these small outsourced companies. And I mean like outsourced companies that are doing outsourced work that most small businesses need. Outsourced marketing, outsourced accounting, outsourced
Mhm.
IT, outsourced HR, right? Those are the folks that we're looking for because we really want to bring to light how you select the right
Mhm.
outsource partner for you and how to make that relationship over time as valuable as it possibly can for all parties involved.
Right. So one of the value that we want to bring is we want to help your business grow and we want to help you select the right outsource partner.
And not only that, that once you select it, it's an ongoing relationship.
And
So how do
how the
you
best to
manage
manage
it?
it.
Right. How do you manage it over time? And not just for you, but for them as well. You're growing together, right? I mean,
Right.
it's very important to understand how those relationships need to evolve over time.
Excellent. All right, that's good. I think we're running out of time. So what's the best way to reach you, Tom?
Yeah, really easy. Like, if you want to go ahead and jump on my LinkedIn, you can DM me at any time. Again, just look me up on LinkedIn for Tom Freedman, Defiant Enterprises. You can send me an email as well. It's tfreedman@defiantenterprises.com. That's tfreedman@defiantenterprises.com. More than happy to chat with any other small business owners and see how we can help each other out in the future.
You can contact me at A11@informationexperts.com, and also you can all reach me through my LinkedIn at Adam Levin. Perfect. And then also we're going to have we have a website. We can fill out a form if you want to be a guest. That would be fantastic. So it's strategyshiftpodcast.com, and we look forward to having some guests in 2025.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah.